Hi everyone, my name is Nguyen and I'm an English language teacher working at the University of Eastern Finland. In this video, I'd like to invite you on board on an excursion to explore from challenges to competences, insights into professional development of language teachers of digital literacy in Finnish higher education, which is based on results from my recent doctoral research. First, what's the password? That's buzzword. We heard a lot lately. AI, or artificial intelligence. Did you know, just a while ago, the European Commission announced the second wave of AI factories, adding 6 more countries to this map, and Finland already had one up in Guyana last year. For AI being the most transformative trend to have a direct and divergent impact on the job market, the demand for technology-related skills has been on the rise. Digital literacy is predicted to be the top in-demand skills by 2030, when half of the employers plan to reorient their businesses in response to AI, and 2/3 plan to hire talents with AI skills. So, digital literacy is no longer a luxury but a necessity today and tomorrow, and the top priority for education and professional development. This is one of the main inspirations as well as rationales for my research. Our students are, fortunately, already aware of the importance of digital literacy. Let's look at this slide by one of my students who kindly let me share their concern and question with you today. The disharmony or mismatch between the industry and the university, with the former already riding the AI wave while the latter a bit behind, or in some cases even going in the opposite direction, saying no to AI in teaching and learning. These kind of questions were also what had me, as a teacher of English, started on my PhD journey a few years ago, when technology-enhanced teaching were still a bit novel and marginal, but now taking the center stage. But before we dive into the deep, what is digital literacy? Digital literacy was first introduced in the seminal work with the same title by Gilster, 1997, as a literacy for the digital age. And this ever-evolving concept has since spurred a lot of conversations as well as conflicts and confusions. To this day and age, there is still no consensus on what is meant by digital literacy, but a shared understanding that digital literacy is a collective term for multiple interrelated competencies, as you can see in this diagram. Yet, digital literacy does not only equal a definite sum of technology skills and knowledge, but also encompasses more complex, non-linear cognitive and social processes associated with the use of technologies that empower one to learn, work, live, and develop fully in the digital world we live today. In this slide, the definition as quoted here was adopted for this case study of teachers at Finnish University Language Centers because it's comprehensive and best suits this context. So digital literacy is the awareness, aptitude, and ability of individuals to appropriately use digital tools and facilities to identify, access, manage, integrate, evaluate, analyze, and synthesize digital resources, constructs new knowledge, creates media expressions, and communicate with others in the context of specific life situations in order to enable constructive social action and to reflect upon this process. A bit about the background. Now, Finland had made tremendous efforts in response to the increasingly digitalized landscape of the 21st century learning, and more recently to the global pandemic and AI movements. And yet, most of the previous research work has so far mainly focused on preparing prospective teachers for their digitally inclusive future work. So what about now? What about our in-service teachers who are to play a very central part in this mission? Unfortunately, this research venue has not been well established in Finnish higher education, and this is where my research came into play. Just to put you on the map, my PhD project started in 2016 and has gone through these main phases as highlighted here in this timeline. The need for this research topic was shortly recognized as the project 2 launches in 2017, just a year later, by the nationwide network of Finnish University Language Centers, FINEC, to offer resources for language teachers in digitalizing their teaching. So my study came to life as an effort to promote the national higher education mission to improve the quality of education by revamping the competence of teachers and make full use of the possibilities offered by digitalization, as emphasized by the Ministry of Education and Culture 2021. And hopefully, this PhD project could help also pave the way for more endeavors such as DigiValues or Digital Readiness and DigiVision 2030. Now, the aim of this research are threefold, as you can see in this figure. I wanted to examine the current digital literacy professional development of English language teachers' professional needs in this area, and the most effective ways possible for them to further enhance their digital literacy through these different lenses of leaders, teacher support staff, senior teachers, students, and teachers as the main target. In other words, my study aims to address these three research questions from the multiple perspectives of these stakeholders. First, how do English language teachers at Finnish University Language Centers currently develop their digital literacy? What kinds of professional development needs concerning digital literacy do the teachers have? And last but not least, how could the teachers' digital literacy be further developed? This investigation examines specific groups, conceptions, and practices through an exploratory and descriptive approach based on a qualitative interpretive paradigm utilizing in 2018 multiple case holistic study design. Now, participants of my study include 49 staff and students from 3 different university language centers in Finland, with the smallest sample from case number 3. Now, it was partly due to the timeline difference and mainly because there was sufficient data at that point. The research materials were acquired with 26 semi-structured interviews, 4 focus group discussions, and 16 supplementary observation sections. To analyze the data, I used thematic analysis and content analysis through 3 circles of inductive, deductive, and a combination of both. Data from these different sources were analyzed with reference to the research questions and relevant literature. Here comes the most exciting part, the key findings, which I will summarize according to the 3 research topics and questions we looked at earlier. First, how have English language teachers at Finnish University Language Centers currently developed their digital literacy? Results from this study depict a dynamic picture of teachers' current digital literacy professional development, with approaches ranging from formal to non-formal and independent to collaborative methods, of which the most effective included peer learning and community of practice. Another interesting finding is related to the impact of COVID-19, which increased not only anxiety, but more importantly, awareness, leading to greater attention and action in teachers' digital literacy professional development. There were abundant opportunities and resources in digital, financial, and social forms for teachers to develop their digital literacy. Funded development projects, for example, were rated is highly appreciated among participants. On the other hand, various challenges were also reported, and we looked at these in greater details shortly. The next research question was what kinds of teachers' professional development needs concerning digital literacy. Predictably, yet interestingly still, most participants first responded to this question by listing out digital tools and applications they would like to explore or try for their teaching practices. And as a result, the need for unpacking the concept of digital literacy for a more comprehensive understanding and for defining what being digitally literate means for teachers working at the University Language Centers in Finland, which supports earlier research, including Nelson and colleagues' 2019 study. Other significant mentions are the need to enhance digital pedagogy, communication, creativity, e-safety, and especially digital well-being, which are in line with recent literature. For instance, Malki 2021 and Mercer 2021. The third research question of how to best further develop the teacher's digital literacy generated a comprehensive set of recommendations for future practices. Most common findings were to co-create digital literacy standards for teachers to define their needs and to address them with suitable professional development options and sufficient resources. The challenges faced by teachers and other involved parties in the teacher professional development of digital literacy in this case study could be characterized as societal, organizational, and individual, reflecting roughly all of these layers of the Cambridge English Digital Framework for Language Teachers, as you can see here in Figure 12. Now, these tables summarize the key challenges teachers face in digital literacy professional development and how they translate into developed competencies. At the societal level, the limited understanding of digital literacy as an evolving and broader concept, as well as unexpected changes, lead teachers to develop resilience and readiness to embrace changes. Organizationally, the absence of formal guidance and inconsistent supports pushes the teachers to become more autonomous and reliant on peer and colleague support, promoting communities for professional learning and practices. Despite a variety of opinions, what most hindered the teacher's professional development of digital literacy was found to be the shortage of resources, especially time, finance, and support staff, and the lack of organizational guidance concerning teachers' digital literacy professional development, together with the teacher's authority and autonomy, characterized as unique to the Finnish education context. Individually, significant discrepancies in the teacher's levels of existing digital literacy and motivation for professional development in this area compel teachers to explore other professional development opportunities that are more independent and more informal learning. These findings validate and extend the existing framework by highlighting how challenges actively shaped professional growth across all levels. Overall, my research findings aligned with the inspired principles in this Cambridge framework, revealing what most teachers' professional development are positive experiences, although that are needs-based, hands-on or practical, and impactful. 4 key characteristics of effective teachers' professional development, while negative experiences are linked to training perceived as too generic or professionally irrelevant. Other features evident in the findings are related to recommendation for future practice, in which participants stress the need for more comprehensive approaches that involve evaluative, reflective, collaborative, supportive, and sustainable professional development of digital literacy. Notably, in the original framework, INSPIRE only functions as an acronym representing all the factors influencing teachers' professional development efficacy. And yet, my research shows that INSPIRE is more than just a collection of factors. It is a core component at the heart of the entire process. My study discovers that teachers who truly succeed in enhancing their digital literacy draw inspiration not only from their pedagogical practice, but also from their students, their colleagues, supervisors, and support staff in their ongoing professional development of digital literacy. And these sources of inspiration were also recommended as what other less active teachers could actually benefit from. Inspiration serves as a vital driving force behind effective digital literacy growth, fueling teachers' motivation and fostering sustained engagement in digital literacy professional development. I also like to draw your attention to a few other implications that I find most noteworthy. First, with the pressing need to go digital, teachers experienced a positive push to experiment with new tools and ideas. So in this way, changes like the pandemic and the recent AI advancements were deemed a powerful catalyst for teachers' development with increased awareness and engagement in professional development related to digital literacy. Second, the feedback practice was another point for further development. Collective feedback from all key players could be a useful tool for not only communicating expectations and needs, but also for timely support. For time is the most precious resource. Many urged universities to allocate time for research and other professional development activities for teachers at the language centers. Now, I like to emphasize this because, unlike other staff teaching at the language centers at the university, for language center teachers, doing research were unfortunately not included in our work, which has always been a center topic in conversation related to professional development of the language center teachers in Finland. And so I'd like to give a quick shout out to my colleagues at the University of Eastern Finland's language centers for their constant cheering and support for language teachers like myself doing research as part of our professional development, especially when research-informed teaching has always been at the core of our work at the university. Finally, collaborative communities among teachers and between them and other involved parties could foster teachers' continuing professional development in digital literacy. To sum up, by incorporating the voices of both teachers and key stakeholders, the research offers a broader and more panoramic view of the topic, capturing different dimensions and contextual realities of how Finnish university language teachers currently develop their digital literacy, especially the adversarial growth they experienced in advancing their digital literacy competencies during the testing time of the global pandemic and the financial crisis, as well as the current AI waves. Future research could build on these by employing interactive and inclusive data collection and methods, and exploring different recommended professional development approaches which promote more effective and sustainable digital literacy developments across diverse educational contexts. And here's some of the key messages and reminders as souvenirs from this excursion. Digital literacy professional development is not about following the trend but living up to date and expectation to the fullest. And also not only a need but rather a must, and now is the perfect time for that. Time is what needed the most, but of course it takes time and we need to be patient and generous with time. So by the end of the day, it's all about time. Find time, make time, and take time. Finally, let's not forget this quote, which is quite a few decades old, but still rings true. Obviously, it's not just about job security, though it's been a rising concern this day with all the funding cuts and staff reduction. But we no longer worry about computers or AI replacing our teachers, but teachers who can harness the digital winds and waves. Yet again, teachers who can catch this wave or the next might not replace those who stay on shore, but will definitely get to explore new horizons. So with my research work, I hope more of us will get on board and ready for new adventures, sailing the ship of digital literacy like we are in it together. These are a few of the references that I use in my talk. Thank you very much for your attention. And as a teacher researcher, I can't help but ask you to give your comments or questions by scanning these QR codes, which take you to a Padlet. I'm working on a full version of this presentation, which is a paper to be included in the conference publication. So do watch out and keep an eye out for it. For now, feel free to scan this one to get access to full version of my PhD thesis. Thank you so much again, everybody.